Good morning, guys. All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm a little late. I have a lot of one-on-one calls today, and I should have planned better. I had kind of made it known. I put it out to the world that I was going to jump in here at 10 o'clock, and it's what now 10:40. But that doesn't take away from the importance of this message. I talk a lot about how we allow our primitive brain to operate and how we live at the effect of that primitive brain. And I educate my clients on why that happens, because it's really important to know that you're not broken if you are operating from a primitive brain thought, if you're feeling something that's being driven from a primitive brain thought. It's just that you don't yet know how to override that. And I have kind of went back and forth on what's the counter, what's the opposite, what's the contrast to your primitive brain. I have called it your evolved brain for a long time. And it dawned on me that the people that join Selfmade You, the people that opt into this journey of self-discovery, of a curriculum on themselves and how they create every experience, every result for themselves, they are very consistently, very committed to strengthening that more evolved brain. And it's really an extraordinary part of your brain that when it is strengthened, when you put consistent work and practice into it, you create an extraordinary life. You overcome things that you may have been dealing with for years, maybe your entire life. You recognize that nothing has gone wrong, that there is actually a choice to override your primitive thoughts, to not allow them to just play out and create the unintentional life that you may now be living, that there's a choice. You can override it through utilizing this more evolved part of your brain that I am going to coin your prodigy brain, because it is exceptional. It is extraordinary, but it does take practice. It does take time. It does take commitment to strengthen that. And what does that look like? What does it look like to develop your prodigy brain? Here's what it takes. It takes awareness. It takes the awareness of those primitive brain thoughts. It takes the awareness of what those thoughts are creating, what kind of feelings and emotions you're operating from. It takes an awareness of how do you show up when you're feeling something, maybe an indulgent emotion, which would be worry or overwhelm or confusion. You have to first be aware that you're even experiencing that. And then it takes the awareness that you have a choice, that you could choose to think anything about said circumstance, and you will create your experience from that choice. So many people don't understand that they have this primitive brain, that they will never get rid of it, that it's part of your God-given body. It's part of your makeup, but you don't have to run your life from it. That you can override those primitive thoughts utilizing this prodigy brain through practice, and you can create an extraordinary life for yourself, that you can overcome any obstacle, any challenge, any problem by tapping into that prodigy brain. And that is what Selfmade You is all about. It's delivering the education, heightening your awareness, helping you apply the practice so that it becomes this well-driven neural pathway, so it becomes a way of life. We do get new results for you, and we do it with this community. So I am just teeing up primitive brain versus prodigy brain, and I am going to start a series of what does it look like to strengthen that prodigy brain. So I have programs galore. We have the Selfmade Mind and Body program that is a 5-month program. It's going to launch again on June 16th, and it is focused on creating metabolic health. It's focused on creating a mental capacity that keeps you in control. So it's called Mind and Body, Selfmade Mind and Body, for a reason. Through the course of 20 weeks, we take you through a 10-week fat adapted intensive, followed by 10 weeks of mastery, where you keep your finger on the pulse of your weight loss and your hormone goals while you start to create all sorts of personal and professional results in your life through the application of what you learn in the intensive. It's extraordinary. So next Monday, we are doing another crash course that will give you kind of the 10,000-foot view of what that Selfmade Mind and Body program looks like, so that you can make a well-informed decision on whether that's the right program for you. I can tell you, we've had hundreds of people go through programs with Selfmade U. Hundreds of lives have exponentially changed, because it's not just those 100 people that have been through the program. It's their family, it's their friends, it's their coworkers who notice the difference. So I invite you to come to the free crash course. I've had so many people, I can think of 5 people right off the top of my head who have told me they have lost 10, 20, upwards of 30 pounds just from the education that they get from the free crash course. So join us. You just have to join the student union. There is a registration page because there's a really cool workbook. Let me show you the workbook. This is the workbook that you will get, the counterintuitive way to lose weight, and it holds your hand through all 5 days. And it really gives you a solid understanding of what these programs look like, how life-changing they can be. So that's going to happen in the Student Union, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday of next week. And then that following week, we launch the Selfmade Mind and Body 20-week course. Life-changing, absolutely life-changing. There's going to be tons of testimonials next week. So I hope you'll tune in, if for nothing else, to be inspired by these people who said yes 8 to 10 weeks ago, who have had profound changes in their life. So I hope I teed up the primitive brain versus prodigy brain. I will be back in here coaching on what does it look like to strengthen that prodigy brain? What does it look like to have an awareness of what primitive thoughts actually are, and not to beat yourself down because you're having it, just to have an awareness and remind yourself that there's a choice. So thanks for being here. I will pop back in here later this week. We'll talk to you soon.